Stem Cell Research by Rachel Diamond. Even though I come from a family of doctors, I am no doctor. Couldn't tell you the difference between my tibia and my mandible, but I can tell you that stem cell research and transplants are the beginning of the future. How do I know this, you might ask? Well, to be honest, I read it somewhere in a magazine and it caught my attention. So I looked up stem cell research in the American Heritage Dictionary, and it had a display of words I could not pronounce nor understand. But it's the beginning of our future, so it has to be important, right? Why do I care? What do stem cells have to offer me? Or you? Why should you care? I'm going to tell you. Stem cell research is up and coming in today's day and age, and is a fast-growing, popular solution to many diseases and disabilities, such as Alzheimer's, spinal cord injuries, heart disease, and many more. Many are interested in funding this research because the medical advances are so promising. I can tell you stem cell research and transplants are the beginning of our future. You all will better understand and hopefully agree with me why stem cell research is not only up and coming in the research field, but is a necessity to save one's life. On August 9th, 2001, President Bush announced in a primetime address that he was going to allow federal funding of research to go forward, but only on cells already in existence. Stem cells have the remarkable potential to transform into another type of cell with a specialized function such as a muscle cell or a brain cell. They have the potential to replace damaged genes or add new genes to already existing stem cells in order to give them characteristics that can ultimately treat diseases. Stem cell therapy and transplants can treat many diseases, conditions, and disabilities. Stem cells have two important characteristics that distinguish them from other types of cells. First off, they are unspecialized cells that renew themselves for long periods through cell division. The second characteristic is that under certain conditions, they can adapt to become specialized cells with special functions such as the beating cells of the heart muscle or the insulin-producing cells of the pancreas. Right now, scientists are working mostly with two types of cells: embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells, which have different functions and different characteristics. Human embryonic and adult stem cells each have advantages and disadvantages regarding their potential uses. Embryonic stem cells can become all cell types of the body because they are pluripotent, which means they can affect more than one organ or tissue. Adult stem cells are generally limited to differentiating into different cell types. Large numbers of embryonic stem cells can be relatively easily grown in culture, while adult stem cells are rare, and methods for expanding their numbers in cell culture have not yet been worked out. This is an important distinction, as large numbers of cells are needed for stem cell replacement therapies. A potential advantage of using stem cells from an adult is that the patient's own cells could be expanded in culture and then reintroduced into the patient. The use of the patient's own adult stem cells would mean that the cells would not be rejected by the immune system. This represents a significant advantage as immune rejection is a difficult problem. On the other hand, embryonic stem cells from a donor introduced into a patient could cause an unsafe transplant rejection. This is a controversial topic on the means of creation, usage, and destruction of human embryonic cells. It is a question of morals and beliefs. Pro-choice advocates push stem cell research on the means it can have significant medical potential and can field research for new medical advances. High-profile activists, including Michael J. Fox, who suffers from Parkinson's disease, have appeared before congressional subcommittees urging that the research continues. On the other hand, pro-life advocates push for the protection of human embryos. They believe that life begins at conception, and that destruction of this preborn life is morally unacceptable. This is a difficult social and ethical challenge, which is further postponing the legalization of every type of stem cell research. Over the past years, there have been numerous laws passed by individual states in regards to stem cell research. On November 7, 2006, Missouri passed Amendment 2, which allows usage of any stem cell research and therapy allowed under federal but prohibits human reproductive cloning. February 16, 2007, the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine becomes the biggest financial backer of human embryonic stem cell research in the U.S. They awarded nearly $45 million in research grants. As of right now, there are many laws concerning stem cell research. Individual states have the authority to pass laws and permit stem cell research using state funds unless Congress passes a law that bans it. Now this table right here shows the states that are most keen on funding stem cell research. New York is the highest with $600 million in funding. Wisconsin is second with $375 million in funding, and Connecticut up here with $100 million funding in support of embryonic stem cell research. As you can see, some states are in well favor of this funding. This bar graph up top proves to be that 55% of the population believe that the federal government should fund stem cell research, as opposed to 41% that believe that stem cell research should not be funded. With increasing medical advances, more people's quality of life will improve by legalizing the research of stem cells. These medical advances are so beneficial to one's life, and as a community, should be thankful for this research to be in the works. Let me leave you with this quote by Christopher Reeve, Superman, who suffered from a spinal cord injury in 1995 and passed away in 2004. Stem cell research holds the promise of hope for 100 million people living with incurable diseases, from diabetes to heart conditions to Alzheimer's to Parkinson's, ALS, MS, and spinal cord injury. It will affect the entire American family. I believe this is why we find such strong support from people with such diverse religious and ethical beliefs. Stem cell research could have saved his life. Now think about this. Think about your friends, families, neighbors, and all the people you will meet in your future. God forbid something happens to them. A stem cell transplant, which will only come from stem cell research, could and will save their life. Thank you.